Hi everyone, hope everyone is well. This evening I am playing Napoleon's Eagles, 100 Days, and I'm going to play the Ligny scenario. So this is the second time that I've played through a scenario on this channel. I've done an unboxing of this game and I've covered one of the previous games in the series, and I am a big fan of the mechanics of the game. So I've got the game all set up on another table, so let's have a look at the setup ready to play. So here we've got the scenario set up, and just a couple of things I'm just going to run through quite quickly. We've got our French cards here and our coalition on the right hand side. Now if you've not played this game before, if you're not familiar with how it works, it's basically three what's called wings, so A, B, C, and inside each of those wings there are key locations that we will be fighting for in this battle. And these locations, at the minute, they are on the coalition side, so the coalition have control, but they can be moved over to the French side if the French are able to gain control of them. In each of the three wings, we've got it's two locations here in wing A, one in B and one in C. The coalition also start with unit cards on those wings as well. The French do not. The French start with all their cards here on the East Reserve, and the Prussians, or the coalition, start with all their cards in the Prussian Reserve. There are some reinforcements. The number of turns is 4. So there are extra cards that can come into play representing different units, etc., formations in turns 3 and 4, and there's a chance they may not arrive. We'll see as we play through the scenario. Obviously, as you can see, the French have a lot more. I think they have more cards to begin with, but a lot of them are in the reserve. So as I play through the turn number 1, we'll be moving some of these French cards into the wings to try and attack the locations, and the same with the Prussians, moving some of their Prussian cards into the wings to defend. And that's probably about it. Normally what I would say, and I've covered this game series on my channel before, normally you'd probably space these out a little bit more than I have done today. I've spaced them in this way predominantly because I'm videoing it. And you would normally have a little bit more space between. Here's the reserve. What I'll have to do as I move these cards from the reserve into these three wings, I shall have to sort of rejig the cards around for the sake of the camera. And the same is also true on the coalition side with those Prussian cards there as well. And I've orientated the cards and everything because I'm playing it solo and because I'm filming. I think I'm ready to start. There are some special rules. I just need to go through those again just before I start the turns. And like I said, I think it will take me. I'm playing this at quite a leisurely pace. You could play this comfortably in the evening, but I will probably, with a few other things I've got going on, like looking after the kids and dinner and things like that, I'll probably play over a few evenings, take my time. So I think I'm ready. So I will start with turn number 1. So I played through the first turn, and a high level of drama. So I'm going to go through each wing in turn. And we'll start at the top here. That's actually wing C. It doesn't really matter. So the French attacked. The Prussians valiantly defended, tried to defend. There's a bit backwards and forwards between the two, but eventually the French won. Captured the objective card there, so you just physically move it over onto the French side to indicate that. And well done them. They, as a result, that is a flanked card there that has an impact on the player's hand on this wing here, and the Prussians took some demoralization. So there's a demoralization to the coalition deck. When that demoralization number goes up, it's not good, and eventually it can be so bad that it's pretty catastrophic. However, on this wing here, on the B wing here. The Prussians valiantly defended Ligny. The French threw everything they could at it. The Prussians valiantly defended, and they were able to push the French back, so much so that actually the opposite was true on this wing, where the Prussians were able to push the French back and cause a demoralization to the French deck. Conversely, on the bottom wing here, as you can see from the number of cards, the French threw a huge number of cards at the two objective cards, took them. There was a lot of backwards and forwards, both sides fighting each other, leading attacks to defend the objectives from the Prussians. French just not giving it up and just kept attacking, and were able to take the two objective cards in the end. So this wing has fallen to the French. The French have the wings A and C, with the Prussians holding on to B. The coalition deck has taken 3 demoralizations compared to the 1 for the French. As you can see, as a result of combat, units have had to retreat. Both the French units and quite a lot of the Prussian units there. And we've got some Prussian units in the HTC deck. They move into that, and as a result of combat or cavalry charges, and every turn you can determine, you basically randomly determine if they can come back into the reserve. From the Prussian side, they hope they do, because they need those cavalry back in the reserve to be able to bring them back into the 3 wings. I deliberately kept the guard out of combat for turn 1, being somewhat thematic, but threw everything else that the French had, and I put everything that the Prussians had to defend. Because I'm playing solo, I do adapt the combat card deck slightly. One of my previous videos, someone from the community gave an idea about replacing some of your hand in between combat rounds. That works brilliantly well. I will put a detail of that, or I'll post what they posted on my previous video on this video as a comment, so you can read it how they recommend it, and it works absolutely fantastic playing solo. The game does solo very well. So a lot of drama, incredibly thematic. Turn 1 easily goes to the French. They got really good cards, and it helped them enormously. They were very bold in their attack and very decisive and committed in their attack. And I deliberately played that thematically for this scenario. So it's not looking good for the Prussians, I will be honest, but we'll see what can happen in turn number 2. Now, at the end of turn 2, both sides really were able to reorder some of their troops, some of the cards, and the French had because this obviously there's no Prussians on here, they were able to attack directly, which have caused more demoralization to the French. It certainly does look like the Prussians are in a bit of a tight spot, as we like to say, but they will be able to bring some of their unit cards in next turn. Although saying that, of course, the French will have more unit cards to bring in from their reserve the next turn as well. So not a huge turn in terms of the events, but forming up ready for turns 3 and 4, it feels. And of course, turns 3, there is a chance that both sides could receive some reinforcements. Now, the Prussians really could do with them. And we will see what effect that can have on the battle. But still, currently, French have these 3 objectives. The Prussians have this objective, and the coalition deck is a demoralization value 4 compared to the 1, which is not good for the Prussians. So I'll clean up. I'll start turn 3. Clean up, get everything sorted out, and play through. Let's see how we get on. Now then, turn number 3, again, really dramatic. So basically, the Prussians were able to take back this key location here in wing number C. a bitter fight between them and the French. They were able to do it predominantly because they were able to bring their reinforcements onto the table, and the French not. So they took advantage of that and regained the sort of territory card, which will help them with their victory points. The French still have these two though, so it's sort of even, sort of Stevens. Quite a lot of fighting on both sides. The Prussians try to take these objectives here, but unsuccessful. We put the Young Guard into this middle here just to defend, really, to see if they, to see if they could just hold the Prussians back. And it's the last turn next, so we're going to see if we can bring in the rest of the reinforcements. And basically, the French tactic, and the imperative is on the French to attack. The French are going to put in the Old Guard, I feel, on the top location here, and see if they can support the Young Guard. Hopefully, if they get their reinforcements onto the table, and see if they can push and take the last two objectives and hold on to this. The Prussians, however, are going to try and defend these two and see if they can push the French to reclaim the lost territory there. We will see. It's certainly very dramatic, and we'll see how the last turn shakes down. So in conclusion, the French were unable to take the two objectives. The fierce fighting both on this wing and considerable on this wing, and also on this one as well. The Prussians trying to retake the two objectives. But at the end of that turn, and the final turn of the game, both sides were unable to take the objectives that they really required. So the Prussians managed to hold on to these two here, but were unable to take these two. And the same goes for the French. They were able to hold on, but not take the two objectives there. I think in terms of the rules, I think it's a coalition victory. I don't think the French gained enough victory points to make the difference. So yeah, that's how the game ended up. A lot of fierce fighting on these wings here. I thought in some ways on that last turn, in fairness, the Prussians got better cards than the French did, and Lady Luck was in the Prussian favour. Not so much for the French on their final push. Even the guards couldn't take that objective there, although they gave it a good shot. Just really not great cards for them, and that's the way we play war games. And also, the French reinforcements didn't arrive, and that was a major contributing factor to both the game and this, especially this turn and the prior turn as well, where the Prussians were able to get the reinforcements. And again, interesting history lesson there for us. If your reinforcements don't arrive, it's not, your job's just going to be that much harder. So I'll just conclude with some, I'll just finish, I should say, with some concluding thoughts. Yeah, I really enjoyed the scenario. I thought it played really well with all the different mechanics. It was good to see the sort of push and pull from both sides. Honestly, at one point I thought the French had the game, but not quite to be. I have covered this game a couple of times on my channel, and I'll put links to those other videos, so please check them out. If you are in the mood for a Napoleonic card-driven game, then I really love this series of games. I will play, I think it's Wavre next before I play the full Waterloo game. The full Waterloo game, you need quite a lot of space. I kind of need to figure out how I would film that. It's got quite a few different wings as well, but I'm sure I'll figure that out. It is a great game. I love it to bits. I've always enjoyed playing through these scenarios, both playing through them solitaire and playing through them two-player as well. So check out the other videos on this game, and if you've played it or you'd like to learn more about the game, then please leave a comment in the comment section. And thanks for watching, as always. Thank you.